Hey, Urquo here. I just wanted to let you know there was a hardware issue during the recording of the podcast. It was sort of like a crackling in my audio. I can't fix it, unfortunately, so sorry about that. Just wanted to let you know. Also, if you're seeing this as a subscriber of my channel, you might be confused about what all this is. This is a debut crossover with another podcast. So I'm basically starting another podcast, but it's crossing over with the other one that I'm on. So it's kind of a lot to explain, like what the whole thing even is. So sorry about that also. But you can go check that out if you're interested.
This episode is brought to you.
Hello, sweat beads. Welcome back to the Neurotypeline, the channel, not the show. Don't get it confused. You are listening to Yes, Sequitur, brought to you by Square Pusher, as usual. Also brought to you by some other things that I forgot. So...
Do you see me? Right. The light there, right now. Fucking
this is
caps
pure
off and
indulgence, so we're going to talk about a bit of neurotyping, so we can justify putting it on this channel. But then we're going to talk about also whatever we want.
If I'm not unique and special, then how come none of the rules ever apply to me, stupid?
Why don't you two introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Oro. I host the Neurotypeline, the podcast, not the channel, though I also own the channel, and I'm here to oversee this little project. I am the world's foremost Vriska apologist, and currently trapped in Yoko's basement. How you doing?
Yeah. Yes, I should check behind myself more often. Oh yeah, also sponsored by Vriska. That was the other thing.
Yeah, shout out to Vriska for being like the best character in Homestuck. For real. Oh god. My name is Ian. Markiplier, and that's it.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, on this episode, we have all of us are in the red column. It's in the all red episode, but not the first episode where we're all red, if you know what I mean.
You know what, Arca? I think you're in it.
Or are we? Is there not perhaps a column besides red? Infrared, even, perhaps.
Yeah, the orange column. Canvas dubbed it the orange column. It's canon now. This is the canon chart.
Yeah, the canon chart. Remember that chart, the extended chart? Who somebody in the comments section said it's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
That's wrong. It's so good it's good. I don't know what you mean. It's just a straight upgrade.
Yeah. It's so good it's extended.
Yeah. I guess that's like the first thing I want to know is like, I personally use this as another granularity, like, as opposed to an extended thing. I have my reasons, but yeah, like, is this more, or is it the same, or is it both? I don't know.
It's like in a fucking Binding of Isaac, and you're playing green mode, and that guy's like, you killed him, but fuck, you're in hard mode, so there's another boss layer and shit.
Yeah, it keeps going.
Okay, let me specify Canvas did. So basically, it was more Canvas put it as a way to disperse the nuance that each new type can occur, instead of just all being warped up in funny orange people, funny red people. Now it's just like, oh, we have a fucking stargazer, spiralizer, fractalizer. Too bad no one's on the server. It's basically anything else. So
Yeah, wasn't it like because the neurotyping, like everybody in there is like all jammed up in the top right corner. So it's like we need more types to like differentiate.
Yeah, you need to make space.
yeah, we need more space. We migrated westward. We've expanded.
Yeah, sort of decompression. Obviously I also like this because, on this one I'm not on a border and can't decide. Now I can just be in the middle of the new type square.
Yeah. I get the usefulness I would have, but also I like the idea that actually it does get bigger, that does go beyond, that I think like 99% of people fit in the normal neurotyping chart, but this is for the hyper artists. Beyond this point, there be avatars. I like the static on the corners. This is where it gets unnerving. This is where it moves into the Lovecraftian horror of things the human psyche is capable of in states that are not normal and not for kids.
And Jesse is still an overseer, man.
Yeah, I like to retreat into the relative normalcy of being just an aesthetician. My life has been marked by a distinct inability to manage paradoxes.
That's not true. You're a Homestuck fan.
Or let's just using this as a new psyop propaganda to make sure he isn't included as autistic. He's just trying to trick you people. Don't let him trick you.
You read Homestuck, you eat paradoxes for breakfast.
I do, but I don't eat the people I manage for breakfast, so I think this is clear evidence that I'm not managing them. If you eat the people you manage for breakfast, you're probably a bad manager. Or it's a power move, but both are possibilities.
Both are valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannibalism is my favorite white-collar crime.
I guess if it is different granularities, I prepared these images here, so I gotta post them. I gotta argue for this.
Why are mommy and daddy fighting?
Wait, should we read names again for the non-viewing audience?
Oh, shut up.
Or is this a luxury only afforded to the Neurotypeline podcast?
Shut up. There's a new neurotype chart to look at this. I have to say why Urquhart is wrong. Okay, let's see.
Okay, so we got hive minds here. The top left. Then you got human computer, which is like a dumb, because it's just human calculator, but it's like computer, which people interchange those anyway. But funny joke, I guess. Then you got logician. Then you got beholder. Then you got stargazer, and then fractalizer. I'm gonna go around clockwise actually. So under that you got spiralizer, and then paradox manager, and then impressionizer, which is just the human computer thing again, but it's sideways. Then you got airhead, and then nature existence. Then you got animals going to the left. That's pretty funny. Thought dasher, base headed. That's pretty good. Judger, bottom observer. The ass looker.
Being Lex is the ass man.
Yeah. And then going back up, you got rule lackey, data retainer, systematic sidolite, and then mind acolyte.
Did you make this chart yesterday?
What?
This will be today.
I made it.
This is a
I
new
made it
profile
this
picture.
week, I think, and then literally before getting on, I was adjusting people.
That's what I was gonna say, because this is a new profile picture. My guy, I caught you red-handed.
Yeah, I am red.
Anyway, I agree with most of these typings.
I don't know about Stumble. As long as we're indulging, I haven't got them figured them out.
Stumble is stumble, and
Yeah.
it's like that. The only good line in all of the epilogues is the Roxy trans arc. Everything else is fake, wrong, and bullshit. That's my take.
What? Everything else?
Mm-hmm.
Did Stumble say that, or is that your take?
I'm deciding right now. This is my campaign, my pilgrimage.
You're campaigning against the epilogues.
Exactly. Dirk would never do that. This is fan fiction, not real.
I don't know.
Yeah, and Dirk would never be in fanfiction.
You guys ever read this thing called Detective Pony? Yeah. You've ever read?
You ever heard about Long Cat?
Yeah, man, it's some real shit. Yeah, I never got around finishing reading it, but I bet it's really good. Anyway, Serket, explain these charts to us.
Yeah. This is, again, my argument of just a different granularity, which maybe I shouldn't even be using the extended chart in that case, but I just like that I can slip out each one and it still like works and is interesting.
I can't wait for the homies to watch this, and then I get like 50 comments about how Mel was an externalist. So I can tell right now, they're all like, well, he's an esthetician, guys.
I mean, all of these terms are great. Even the ones that are dumb are great.
Which ones are dumb? Can you define these for Papa?
Oh, impressionizer is terrible, but I love it. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, impressionizer, that's really lazy and I hate it. And then I thought, okay, with a pianist and with a pianizer, I get it. One of them is just proficient at dealing with pianos. The other one turns everything into a piano. This is what impressionists and impressionizers are. Impressionizer is a wholly different beast, and I was fooled to think it was just switching up the ending of the word. It's incredible. It describes
that's
it
fine, because I want to replace impressionist with meditative anyway, so it's like...
A meditatizer?
Meditizer.
Yeah.
He makes you meditate.
Also, Thought Dasher is great, because I immediately thought, okay, who would be one of those? And the answer is Nana K from Nana. We can't have an episode of a thing on this channel that doesn't reference Nana at some point.
I just want to watch
The
Nana.
thing I keep hearing about and not watching.
This podcast is sponsored by Serket, New York.
This podcast is sponsored by the Blackstones, the band from the anime Nana.
God.
The only thing I'll say I disagree with this chart is Oro being that linear, but I'll let it slide.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean...
Also, I guess Magica being that linear. And I can see it, putting him more linear than Sage is fucking hilarious, but...
It is funny.
It's very funny.
So it must be true.
just like...
If it's funny enough, it's gotta be true.
Yeah. Loud equals funny and funny equals true.
Exactly, Oro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was also doing this with the that Star Trek chart that I still haven't finished or prepared to make a video about, but like you really learn the nuances between bookkeepers and rule lackeys and judges.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Did I have anything else on this? Yeah, there's like not much to this because it's like obviously.
We're Markiplier on here. That's the real question.
Oh yeah, so Tarbuck like had like a one-off on, I think it was the last episode. It's like been ages, so it could be anything. It was like bottom row is 1-dimensional, and then it goes 2-dimensional, and then 3-dimensional and 4-dimensional.
That might have been last episode, yeah.
Like my first instinct, or maybe other people's instinct, I don't know, for that is like, oh, that's more dimensions. Isn't that just better? But it's like, I don't know. Look at animation. Do you think 3D shows are instantly and inherently better than 2D shows? Like just as an upgrade? I don't really think so.
That's
You immediately have to deal with another dimension.
Sometimes making things more complicated makes them less interestingly complicated when the thing was complicated before. Like with 3D chess, there's a lot of strategic complexity in humble chess, and when you make it even more complex, a lot of that is just kind of lost because now no one knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but if you take that far enough, you get some cool shit like Finnegan's Awake, and it's like, nice.
That sounded like you said it, Finnegan's Awake. He just woke up. You don't want Finnegan to be awake, you guys.
You really fucking don't. He's like a goblin and shit. Well, was he an orc? I don't know. He was a giant. Yeah, he was a giant and shit.
But yeah, so if there's 4 different dimensions and then you have an extended chart, that implies 5D at the top and 0D at the bottom.
Yeah.
You ever seen that one movie?
And when I think about that, that's actually kind of works, because I feel like with 0-dimensional, it's almost like
Yeah, I mean,
like a
0
black
dimensional
hole or
is just a
something.
point.
Yeah.
0 dimensional objects, I think. Especially with with base-headed, I think that works. Which is another stupid name that makes more sense the more I think about it. Because it's essentially like a mental panic room is how I think about it. It's your little base. You retreat to the single needle point focus.
God. Yeah. It's the track A Single Point of Blinding Light by Ben Frost, where it's like starts off like real quiet and then
that's
just
a
like
cool track.
insane.
You should listen to my visuals I made for that. Let me look at that.
Oh yeah, I will link that video in particular. Eden does cool videos for songs.
I also make music. I have a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I still haven't finished all your music. You have at least 50 albums.
It's probably more by now.
It's kind of crazy. This is foreshadowing. Yeah, so like 1D is kind of like a black hole or something that like stuff just comes out of. Like you just kind of, yeah. And then I guess I have to sort of justify the higher Ds for myself. Like, does that even make sense? And it does kind of at times feel like I'm, sort of making a left turn or something into a direction that doesn't exist with my thoughts. Like the way I'm grabbing information, I guess.
It's like Loveliest chart. Like you just grab it from random bullshit because you're fourth or something.
Yeah, it goes somewhere and it's there.
You're pulling it out of one of the secret hidden string dimensions that wrap around the other axes.
So I guess the question is, Eden, do you feel like 5D?
Sure.
Cool. I just needed verbal confirmation, whether it's true or not.
Do you feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds?
How many Ds you got?
I want to say that's the 5th season of Yu-Gi-Oh! But
I got all
that's
the Ds.
insensible, but I'm not actually sure.
This podcast is brought to you by this gift.
Oh yeah. I should have fun editing this. I want to edit this one. Roll your D5 now. Let's see what you get.
It's not. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is the second main spin of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wait, where's Oro political D4? Where is this?
A political D4? Oh, that thing. Yeah, visit my website and do a funny political leaning quiz. I know. Generate fun words.
Here is Oro's drawings of people.
Yeah, those are drawings of people. Every bit of money you spend on my website is sent directly to the Tumblr account Vriska did nothing wrong, which just comments Vriska did nothing wrong and Homestuck posts. You can't spend money on my website, but pretend you can. Do it.
Holy shit.
Good.
Did Oro make an RFCK joke? Is this true?
No.
I don't know what that is.
Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers is an Discord-based MMORPG you can play in your browser right now for free. I'm sure I forgot some qualifiers, but I don't care.
If you're talking about Neurotypes, you can.
Why do you have the ability to pull out like the most outdated charts possible?
No, this is Guru's chart.
Is this up to date?
I don't think so, but it doesn't matter. It's still wrong. Well, at least
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, a radio esthetician is true.
Yeah.
Rose is true. Kanaya is true.
It's just the long day fascinator Carcat escapade that's been going on for like a year now. Also, apparently, Guru doesn't believe in the night maid pairing.
Apparently, Guru doesn't believe in the Lord.
He's a blasphemous impudent, and we're gonna have to kill him.
Yeah.
Or how much do I have to kill you? How much will I have to kill you to pay someone?
How much do you have to kill me to pay some?
Yeah, to pay someone, how much does she have to kill you?
Oh, a lot. Like at least half, probably.
How much do you want? Half.
If you kill me by half, I can probably be made to give money to someone, an unspecified amount.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
If you think about it long enough, it makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess that's what we've learned. You think about things long enough, they start to make sense. Like Impressionizer and Human Computer.
Honestly, that's how people psyop themselves into believing to neurotyping.
Yes. Yeah, I guess last thing, I don't know. No, it's obvious. Everything. I had to look at the chart. It makes sense. All right. Next topic, I guess.
Wow, what a fruitful discussion about the expenditure.
Yeah. I mean, we got like 20 minutes out of it.
Wait,
maybe.
I want to quickly talk about Beholder being on this thing, despite the people who made it having at that point not listened to the Magnus archives, and Beholding isn't exactly in the right place, which is terrifying.
Didn't you put it in like HC?
No, shush.
Did you change your mind?
No, I didn't change my mind. It's close enough.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
funny if it's exactly right.
it's spot on one axis.
Yeah.
So that's like really close. All right, topic
That's
2.
what I'm saying.
Wait, didn't you have some topic you wanted to like interject in? Oh god, the PCP chart. Oh no.
Oh yeah, the PCP chart, guys. Let's discuss this.
I should have just pretended to forget.
Here's a chart of people. You people don't.
Here's another chart.
Who are these people?
These are my thoughts. I don't care. Except put me on it, and then I'll care.
The PCP chart is horrifying because I agree with it now.
Because you thought about it for long enough.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot about it. And I remember disagreeing with it when I first saw it, and then I saw it again like a year later, and was like, well, fuck.
You are in fact Benson.
Someone glimpsed into my soul before I knew that this part of me existed. I hated being this Nate aligned, and now I can see it.
Ben Nate.
Yeah, I can see how this horrifying combination would work.
Man, I got upgraded. I used to just be like shoehorned into Munchie. Now I'm in like the Verd shit. I'm expanding.
Wow, expanding. I think Rika was like top right Ben Saint.
What? I don't like it described.
Like leaning.
Again, we should explain the chart. So it's a 3x3. Going left to right, top to bottom. Devu, Beatrice, Munchie, Ben Saint. Now it's Jesse. Originally it was Mumkey. I don't know which one is canonical. Gib, Nate, Tom, Mage, which
having a chart without Jess on it is just like, why would you, like, what's the point?
That's fair. But honestly, with Jess on there, I feel like this changes my position. I feel like I'd be closer to Jess than I was previously away from Munchie. Made sense to put me on the opposite end of Ben from Munchie, but I feel like it'd be more Jess aligned, maybe.
Perhaps.
Perchance.
Yeah, Rika was top right fencing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, or I put Jesse like, yeah.
Small man Devu makes sense.
He put himself there. I agree.
And the other question is, where would you put the PCP members on the PCP chart?
That's a great question.
No, I genuinely think they wouldn't be exactly on themselves.
I think the Vu is like a Munchie Gibbon and maybe a little Tom in there.
Yeah, these aren't their real selves.
Yeah. Right, here I'm thinking of the archetype, of the character. This is... Because that's how my placement makes sense, if I think of these as dark gods. As twisted facsimiles of themselves.
Thank you, dark gods. Yeah, I would put the Devu in Gibbon zone, I think, these days. There's an example. That's the only one that I thought of.
I mean, I didn't want you to actually do it, but sure.
There's one. Actually, why am I where I am on there?
Where are you?
Apparently,
yeah, I see you. Okay.
Way over there in Munchie.
Because Snail takes up most of the spots. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think you're very Munchie. I can definitely see Gib.
Really? Or explain, because you're like the fucking PCP lore master, right?
I mean, again, I'm not anchoring this in any specific context. I'm looking at the... That's the thing. These are not people to me anymore. They are ideas.
I mean, we already went that past point a long time ago. You're just slow, my friend.
I'm looking at these and they seem like numbers. I'm like, oh yeah, this seems like the number 3, or like this color suits you. These are colors. These people are colors at this point.
My face when I'm an idea.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to blend Gib and I don't know. You actually also have some of those loathsome Nate characteristics, which aren't actually that bad because they are highly productive.
Oh god. Because Scarlet put Urkoi as Nate and
No, I don't think Koi is a Nate. I think Koi is Nate adjacent.
What do you think about Melvin being
so
a Nate?
am I a Tom?
No.
I don't think you're a Tom, no.
Okay. Am I a Jesse?
No.
Definitely not. No, I think you're
the only Jesse type in here is Canvas.
In Gib Mage territory, like chart looping into Nate.
Okay.
Like not actually chart looping, but to the right fringe.
It's looping in the way that remember the real chart looping that I made?
Yeah.
Where it goes like it changes levels when it loops.
Yeah, that's the issue because you'd have to be in Gib and like maybe Mage adjacent and Nate adjacent, which doesn't work because even if you looped, you'd be still close to Ben, and you're definitely not Ben.
What the fuck is Mage again? Like, I forget.
Mage is a Lithuanian lady who draws anime cute boys, and she has some weird political takes. Nowadays, she's a streamer.
Yeah, she's a VTuber now, guys.
She left the PCP.
Yeah.
Urkoi is, in fact, not a diffuser.
Where's the piano? I got pianoed on my own podcast.
Ora, do you agree with Gag being Jesse Nate?
No. Jesse Nate would have written his fucking book by now.
Yeah, fuck you. Write your goddamn book. Anyway. I hope you know you're keeping him at bay. He's fucking scarred every turn.
What?
He better be. He's a coward and he knows it.
Yeah.
Seriously, then when would you place him on you?
See, that's the thing. Of neither of these could I confidently say that they are a coward. Often to their detriment. Especially in Ben's case. Ben could benefit from a healthy amount of cowardice. And even Mumkey, who's no longer on the chart, Mumkey did write a book at least, which I own physically. So, yeah. Fucky Gag.
My instinct is the Devu B.
I mean, Egag tagged himself as Jesse, so that's probably mostly put there. And when I've seen a Jesse, it kind of makes sense.
I guess. Then again, have you seen...
Egag argues the way Beatrice used to. like stylistically, obviously not the same topics and using different things.
He can see everything except himself. You know?
I mean, that's probably
Maybe.
because
No, I don't know if that's true. There is self-reflection there. He just does it wrong.
Yeah, it's he's looking through like a labyrinthine prism, and if you get it out of alignment just wrong, you're like, you get the wrong image.
Maybe like a Jesse Munchie would work better, but like the worst.
You have Jesse munches on Munchie.
But I like the idea of using other people as personality matrices. That's really funny. I'm like, oh yeah, you're a combination of those guys. Because I feel like I do that internally a lot with people I meet. Like, oh, you're a cross between these fucks I have already encountered. I know how to deal with you. I know how to kill you if push comes to shove.
Yeah, the other day we had the idea in our server, like, oh, each person is a combination of 3 other people on the server.
Guru typed me some dumb shit.
My idea, fuck you. No.
Yeah, that's true.
Guru typed me some dumb shit. That's all I remember from that. Actually.
Yeah. Anyway, I barely care about the PCP. Those are my thoughts.
If you want to care about the PCP, play the PCP dating sim at itch.io/PCP dating, I think.
You believe so.
And you too can care about outdated trivia about these internet pseudo-celebs.
If anything, just play it because you wrote
the
Digibro.
I wrote the Beatrice Digibro. I wrote the Devu, and I wrote Tom, and I wrote part of Gib.
Nice.
And one of those hasn't even come out as trans yet. Literally 1 out of 4 of the people I wrote.
Maybe it's a like three blue, 1 brown type situation.
Yeah, I think of it as a curse. No, this being trans isn't a curse. Obviously, that's not what I mean. Don't click that.
Jesus. No, I meant like. Actually, that metaphor doesn't even make sense. Never mind.
I mean, I cursed myself to immediate irrelevance by writing about an outdated presentation of that person. I guess.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that's why I see what you mean about these are not people anymore.
Yeah.
PCP icon. Speaking of things that you made, you made a video.
Yeah, I defended hate crimes publicly.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I made a video defending much beloved and utterly uncontroversial figure Vriska Serket from Homestuck. And for some reason, a couple of folks took offense to it. Like, not as widely as I thought. First of all, it didn't get the reach I imagined, which is very sad. I still hope it finds the right crowd so it can be seen by folks. But yeah, it only has like 3 dislikes, so that's not so bad. Nice. I did argue with it about it with people for a long ass time the following days. Yeah, I wanted to send it to previously mentioned Tumblr account. Vriska Serket did nothing wrong, but then I'd have to associate my Tumblr account with myself, which I don't really want to do. I'd rather stay anonymous on the hell site.
I mean, you could make another account.
I could, yeah.
But that sounds like a huge hassle, so you'd rather not.
It's not a huge
this
hassle.
This is what the reference. I'm talking about the peeing in a jar and sending the code to John.
Oh, yeah.
It's P Tuesday.
But yeah, making Vriska vid has been fulfilling. I'm happy with the product.
Same.
And I put too much work into it.
Where's the Homestuck PCP chart? Am I right?
No, please.
Do you have that, Oro? I have no idea where it is. It's somewhere in the box.
Yeah, it's a really good video. Yeah, I like the construction of it. I like the aesthetics, the vibe, and the contents quite a lot.
Oops, you forgot.
And I
Put
have
your CD in the computer.
a big fat bunch of notes.
Oh, okay.
Here. I basically just went along through the video and sort of wrote down what I thought. Yeah, let's see. First was the villain coding thing, which I didn't really get that when I read the comic. To me, it was always sort of like a, I don't know if anti-hero is the term, or in stories where it's like, oh, this person, will they turn out good or bad by the end of the story?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Edgy coding?
Well, I don't think anti-hero coding is a thing. I don't really believe in anti-heroes.
Yeah, that's why I was not sure.
It's usually just that. Like, oh, they're obviously heroic, but they say fuck occasionally. Either that or it's just a hero who is villain coded. I think that's mostly what anti-heroes are. It's a villain coded hero.
An uncut gem.
Because it's just an unrealistic standard of heroism, I guess. It's like, oh, these people have to be perfect moral paradigms. They can't ever be an asshole or say...
Yeah. Or like,
say
not
fuck
you have to look
Insane.
good as much as you're doing good.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah, no one actually does that. At that point, only like Superman would still be an actual hero.
Yeah. And also, what even is looking good if not being hot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead.
Obviously.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and then there was you also brought up like Dave's whole thing with his bro as like a counterpoint, and also similarly, I didn't really get that when I read the comic. Like pretty much immediately after he is getting off of his bro's computer, and he's like having a whole like chilled freak out, like looking around the room, like this is fucked up. That's pretty like obviously.
I agree. I didn't have that experience either, and then I went onto the internet at some point, and people like, oh, this is such a retcon. This was just cool fucking ninja training, and
God.
Now Hussey wants to make it dark. No, like this is
no.
I get that it is abuse which is played for laughs because it's a funny webcomic. It has jokes at all of its darkest moments. But
I guess they were seeing it from bro's perspective a little too much.
Yeah, and I get it. You're still an early Homestuck at that point. Not like some pretty dark things have happened, but not too much. So you maybe aren't expecting domestic abuse, and you're not seeing it as much. But really, at the point where it's pointed out to you, you shouldn't go, well, this is a retcon. You should reflect and go, oh,
yeah.
See, they pulled a very cool little trick where they made me think this isn't bad when, in fact, domestic abuse is very, very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either, but apparently it did for a lot of people, and sadly it also did for Vriska.
Yeah.
People are super, super influenced by this.
Also, this Markiplier gif has been creeping me out for the last minute.
This episode is brought to you by Markiplier.
Oh my god, not again. Not more.
Where's Markiplier at Homestuck?
Stop, Markiplier. I don't want to play a game. Leave me alone.
Oh, let me get the author video.
Next note I had under Doomsday Devices was lol. And then in parentheses.
Lol.
But then I do have something interesting. even if it's functional in the sense that it like turns on at the very
Yeah.
least. I think we know that Vriska is like the thief of life. Like she steals
No,
Thief
she's
of
a thief
light.
of light.
of light. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. All the luck goes to her basically. And in
Yeah.
that situation,
All
it
the
seems
luck.
like a very like luck thing. It's like, oh, the thing broke and the chain snapped and it smashed into the cliff and it killed or critically wounded Spider Mom.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, she still has none of the luck, like with breaking 8 balls and all that stuff.
Yeah, but to me, it's like light or luck sort of equals fortune,
Yeah,
and what fortune kind of depends on who it is, and so to me, it's like that like shows what she finds a good thing to happen is for the Doomsday device to break and for Spider-Mom to die.
that's a really cool read. I hadn't thought about that, gonna be honest. I don't know how much I agree with it, because, again, at this point we still see her stepping on D4s all of the time and having pretty miserable luck, which, even in a way where I think she wouldn't think this is good.
Maybe even...
So, yeah, it might be a first instance of her power kicking in a positive way.
Yeah.
Might be. That it isn't like being stolen from her, but rather her stealing luck. Yeah, might be.
Yeah. I feel like even if it's technically like negative luck or like destructive, lack of luck, I think it still displays fortune at least. Even though
Sure.
it's like kind of in the moment is sort of like
Literally
a huge
minor.
havoc and like, oh my god, the rocks fall, like, oh my god, what's going on?
I mean, still, even in that case, I'd be like, okay, but maybe don't build. If it were an actual functioning Doomsday device, don't build something like that, have it unprotected, and be like, well, I'm naturally lucky, so nothing's gonna happen. That seems still,
True.
yeah, not like a great move. But I get what you mean.
Yeah. It does sort of, this is like a tangent, but the Doomsday device kind of makes me think of, it's sort of like how Karkat thinks he like cursed their session or something,
Yeah.
even though every single bad thing that happens has an explanation behind it.
Yeah, I mean, Kanaya explicitly draws a parallel between those two.
Yeah,
being,
it's still also like, there's like plausible deniability about like how curses work.
Like they are, they're both kind of narcissists in a weird way. Not really narcissists, but they do
Self-absorbed.
they do think everything revolves around them or is
The
caused
world's
by
out
them.
to get me.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
right.
remember you talked about once that Kanai is like the only one that isn't incredibly self-absorbed. To some, yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, Kanaya explicitly says, yeah, you and Karkat are like this. You always go like, oh, this terrible thing is happening, it's my fault. Exactly with Vriska's bad luck. Oh, I'm stepping on D4s all of the time because I'm breaking off this fucking cue ball. Not cue balls, 8 balls.
Yeah.
Could that extend to Aridin as well?
Just clean your fucking room. You're not cursing yourself.
Would you say that applies to Aridin or extends to it?
I can sort of see it. Maybe not to the same
Maybe.
extent or in the same way. He has a more straightforward narcissism.
No, I don't think Aridin is self-sabotaging. I think he actually tries to have his relationships work out. He's just not good at
he
it.
literally like shot at NPCs that weren't supposed to drop anything
Yeah.
and had 1 billion health. So
I mean,
I don't know. That seems self-sabotaging.
So... No, dude, you're not supposed to kill the angels.
Talking to Rose, that's pretty self-sabotaging.
Oh yeah, but he isn't like Vriska, who keeps breaking 8 balls to make to be reasonably herself at fault for her bad luck. So at least she can convince herself that she's in control and that she is in control for things being out of her control.
Yeah.
Aridin doesn't do that. Aridin is just really stupid and an asshole.
He keeps making new mistakes instead of the same mistake over and over in a controlled environment.
Oh, also quickly back to the Doomsday devices. that was one of the really silly criticisms I found where I was looking at the web for, okay, what are all the things people accuse Vriska of? Like, oh, she built this machine that was gonna end their entire world. Insane. How could you come away from the comic thinking this is something she actually did?
Yeah, like, not only does this not benefit her, even if she had a way to, like, escape the planet, that also is, like, what is she gonna do after that? If the whole planet is dead, it's like, you have nothing to do now.
Yeah. Also, she goes to Aqueous to get her arm fixed. She's not that good at it. She could not build a doomsday device. You are insane.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, now the notes get sort of tangly because there's Flarp, but then there's like also Tavros and Terezi, like it's a whole thing, and the revenge cycle. There's like lots. I guess Flarp. I had a note in here. Flarp really says a lot about troll society.
It does, yeah. It is literally just Colosseum battles.
Yeah.
Except not, because people aren't really forced into it or need it for money or are mainly slaves, as some were for slave battles. No, they just do it.
That is the one thing though, like you said, they weren't like coerced into it, and it's like, maybe, I'm sure that everybody does it because it's more like a schoolyard type thing, like a societal pressure, I think, or an expectation that like not everybody is going to do it, but it is like a cool thing to do. It's like, oh, I can prove my trollness through this very dangerous thing. I don't know.
Maybe, kind of. Like, it's sometimes portrayed as like a nerdy hobby, more so.
Right.
Just by the people who engage in it.
Yeah, actually, I guess there is like a lot of different ways you could engage in it.
Yeah.
Like, I could see people who are like, when you said nerd, it's like more of almost a hands-off, like analytical thing that could be like really enjoyable and like satisfying because of the high stakes.
Yeah, but there seems to be a lot of people engaged in it, and I think a big part of that is just that Alternia isn't safe anyway.
Right.
Like, there's a really high risk you're gonna be killed on the street, so again, it's kind of taking...
Killed on the streets? Killed in the sheets?
Making it about you taking some... It's similar to Vriska breaking the 8 balls. Like, if I'm gonna get killed, I want to at least have actively made that decision.
Yeah.
You can take away our lives, Jean Gotti, but you can't take away our freedom.
It also offers weird kind of niche in the case structure, because in Flap, it's fine if you, as a low-blood, kill a high-blood. That happens. That's a thing you can do. It's not that you are uniquely preyed upon. Mm-hmm. And from what we see, like, laws don't really apply. It seems to be seen that, yeah, if you die in Flap, not only do you die in real life, but also, yeah, your actions have fucking consequences. You sign up for this, no matter how high on the hemo spectrum you are. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of attractive to people.
Yeah, like I can, out there on the battlefield, I could kill a high blood and it would be okay, or like
it's
not
like,
be.
It's like the funny idea of like, if the rich guy go to war and the poor man go to war, what's the real difference between them anyway? We both got a gun and want to murder each other.
It's the great equalizer.
Exactly, guys. So what this means is that you have to go declare war on everyone.
Yeah, even if there's like drastic consequences, you can just I was LARPing, guys.
Yeah,
it's not real. They died, but like it's not real. It's a game.
I'm literally just a minder, Lamau. Yeah. Or how about that argument, huh?
I guess that leads into then.
Oh god, Vriska literally committed war crimes in a video game.
Vriska, yeah. Or what do you think about the Vriska gamer allegations?
Yeah, true. It's horrifying but true.
Now, is Rose a gamer?
No, I don't think so.
Let me fact check.
Yeah, no, she just plays video games sometimes.
Yeah.
If the right one strikes her fancy.
Right.
As we know. That's like me, just like more. Yeah, then there's Tavros stuff, which that's a lot, I guess.
Yeah, who cares about Tavros? Next game.
Right.
I think this is the most contentious and arguable one, is the paralyzing thing specifically. But funny enough, like more so than the murder of Tavros, because the thing about that one, it is like
right.
Even though he is
it's
dumb,
actually self-defense.
Yeah, even though he's dumb, and it's like maybe, you know, I personally would have just, I don't know, knocked him out or something. It's still like, he did attack you, he did intend to kill you, so it's like, yeah, sure. The paralyzing one, though, that one, I feel like I'd have to like read it again, because it's a bit of a weird situation.
Why did she do it again? Was it because like, I gotta make you fly?
So yeah, they're
it's like
playing
that one
this
guy
game
from Hive Swap. But actually, you know what? That's a great way of thinking about it.
It's a weird situation because also other people are involved. Like Doc Scratch is kind of the reason that situation happens, sort of.
Well, he's distracting Radi and Terezi, which is why they don't intervene when they otherwise might have.
Yeah. Which I guess one thing I should say about like Tavros and Vriska is sort of like they're like the worst combination for each other. Like
really?
It's like inevitable that they like get sucked in and also like cause each other distress.
Yeah.
Like Tavros is like really dumb and annoying Vriska constantly, and Tavros is like can't deal with Vriska and is getting harassed like in the process of their whole thing.
Yeah. I would agree that the paralyzing Tavros is the closest thing to something wrong she has done, because while again he's playing a death game, it's really stupid of him to do this. Being like, hey, I'm gonna train you, I'm frustrated with you, fight these enemies or else, is not something you should do to your friends, obviously.
Right. Also, the thing about it in particular too that is mind controlling him into doing that. I feel like sort of her mistake towards Stavros in general is like taking away his autonomy. Like if he's gonna fail, at least let him do it, even if he takes a long time and is annoying.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that's what annoys her, that he wouldn't have failed. He just refuses to engage the battle, at which case they would be stuck there forever. So it's running away, and she can't really do anything since she's the clouder. She's not physically there. So yeah, this again, don't push people off a cliff. But this felt like a lesson. Like you can't run away from everything. You can't get out of everything. Do this, or I'm gonna drop you off a cliff. Which again, slightly unstable. But hey, don't let the unstable girl control your environment.
Yeah. I do wonder about like the what are the ethics of entering a death game with your friends to begin with?
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think, the sort of strongest counter-argument you could make, that he entered it under the assumption that Aradi and Terezi would be having Vriska in check, which they didn't, because Doc Scratch distracted them, which he couldn't have possibly known about. I still consider it a pretty big risk. We don't know what would have happened if those two were undistracted.
Yeah.
And I think we also don't know if Vriska actually knows that Doc Scratch is distracting them.
Probably not. I don't think so.
Like it might be.
Mr. Vanilla Milkshake?
Unlikely.
Revenge Cycle, I wrote, it sure was.
Yeah,
okay. I care even less about this than the Doomsday Devices thing.
Okay, this is the one that I do wish I had been a bit more... I had gone a bit deeper into in the video, because of a discussion that I later had with people who disagreed for reasons that I think are reasonable. Reasonable-ish. Where like, someone spooking you isn't...
Spook?
Yeah, isn't worthy of you killing them. That's an unreasonable escalation. You can't just go, they aggressed first, I'm gonna fucking kill them. Which, yeah, obviously. But first of all, which is what I should have drawn attention to, Aradia specifically says, I'm gonna get us even. So she thinks this is evening the score for paralyzing Tavros, so she obviously doesn't think of it as just spooking her. This is quite a bit worse. Aradia seems to see it that way, otherwise she wouldn't think they're even afterwards. Which I pointed out to this person, and they then said, well, okay, but still, it's temporary, just wait it out. Which is an interesting point, because the comic doesn't actually say whether this is permanent, whether they'd be haunting her forever. Vriska says, better do something than live with this. So Vriska thinks it's permanent, but we don't know if Aradia has to consciously uphold this curse, which is what this person got away from it. I think that's irrelevant, because for self-defense, perceived threat is what matters. Like, if someone threatens you with a replica gun, you're justified in shooting them, because you can't possibly know that. Vriska thinks this is eternal suffering, so yeah, she's gonna kill her. Which is a tangent I should have gone into in the video, I think. And the other thing is that Vriska consciously goes through all her options. She goes like, oh, can I control Aradia? No, I can't. Can I control anyone else? Like, she tries to think of all the other ways she could make this stop, and the only option is Solux. Like, the only option is murder. Probably if she could control Aradia, she'd just make her stop. I'd hope. Which this person didn't believe me. I had to actually send them the page number. Like, here she goes through the options. She doesn't go, oh, I guess murder it is. So yeah, this is context I maybe should have included, I think.
And then also, this isn't exactly a great justification, because, from the perspective of Vriska again, but like Doc Scratch is literally manipulating the situation into that happening as well.
I think Doc Scratch might be part of why Vriska thinks that this is a permanent curse, because he makes it sound like that. Maybe she wouldn't be so quick to jump to that conclusion afterwards. Yeah. But still, like, if you're being haunted by the ghost of the immortal deceased, I think people can't expect super firm reasoning from you. And yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of a weird page, because like we don't really see ghosts in the comic at all, like as portrayed there. Like the way we see ghosts is in the dream bubbles, and like these ghosts they're like very different from any other ghosts we ever see. So it's kind of unclear how they work. It's like very strange.
The way I got it was that they are not physically existing in the space, but Vriska is perceiving them. Essentially, that Aradia is opening her communication with the afterlife, essentially, up to Vriska. So Vriska is now also hearing the voices of the dead. And this is a rendition of how Vriska perceives the situation to be like.
That's sick, I like that.
Yeah.
That fits in nice with the line about fucking the Grim Reaper shit.
What?
Oh, there's a little joke about fucking Dave and Terrance talking about how they both have the same like culture of death. So it makes sense that Vriska manifests them as what we perceive as ghost entities.
Sure.
Then I had under Terezi, I just wrote literally killed John/June for fun as a joke. Right. So maybe analyze some other characters.
Right. People who think Vriska is like indefensible, but think Terezi is completely pure and nice and good are similarly insane. Terezi absolutely doesn't give a shit.
Kills John and is like, oh, sorry.
Oops.
Oopsie.
Yeah, like Terezi's whole shtick is that she doesn't actually care for justice. She just likes the aesthetic of it.
Yeah. And I should there is a distinction between that and her killing Vriska, for example. Like that is that one does matter, because Vriska would otherwise bring back what's his name, Bec Noir, which would get everyone killed. So it's like, I gotta stop you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the retcon shows that this wouldn't have necessarily happened. Someone would have just had to distract them enough to talk it through. But
yeah, so like when in doubt, punch people and knock them out.
Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, just think about it for a second and figure out that Gamzee did this, you fucking moron.
Yeah. I'm also thinking back to
Gamzee sucks.
Terezi killing Tabros too. It's like, man, so many problems would be solved if people would just punch each other unconscious instead of killing each other. Things would be slightly better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, then there's also, this whole like Bec Noir and justice thing. So yeah, obviously I can see how people might get confused into like predetermined stuff, but it is like from her perspective, it's like, oh, all this already happened, so it's like, I guess I gotta do it, and just like that's that. I gotta take that on.
Sometimes people bring up that, from the direct perspective of the trolls, you can't so easily say that. What if she would have anyways? Like, no, there's just Tarbuck. It's just Tabros being stupid. Karkat literally explains this later, being like, oh yeah, there's so many instances of myself who made all these dumb decisions, but the alpha timeline validated this, so Karkat gets it. Karkat gets that we have to validate the alpha timeline if it already told us what has to happen. Most everyone seems to. This is just... Yeah. People are latching onto these few lines of Tabros's when he's clearly in the wrong and not understanding what's going on.
Yeah, he is the person who like can't think it through.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like literally Jack attacks them before they learn about the session.
Yeah.
And then she like gathers tons of information and then like comes up with a plan. Like, so she knows that it's predetermined by then.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
To be fair, she doesn't know if she'll actually cause it. She knows that it will happen anyway, and she tries to be the one to cause it. She knows that, well, maybe I'll fail and it will happen anyway.
This predetermination is up for grabs.
Yeah, right.
I have to secure the fucking freedom. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be my choice, baby.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily that she thinks, oh, me causing this is the only thing that will save the timeline, because she doesn't know that she was the one who caused it. She just knows that it happened. But she's increasing the likelihood of the timeline surviving by doing things which might have led to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta lean into that branch, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that leads me to her having a just death. Because of that.
Yeah, that was my favorite segment of the video to write. I think that came through.
Yeah, it's cool. Let me... Yeah. I actually need to reread what I wrote here. I almost wonder if the concept of justice can be thought of as separate from morality itself, not just as what the universe thinks is good or not, even if the clock would have struck just without interference. It could be taken as a mechanical formality. Technically, Vriska is directly responsible for Bec Noir, so the universe must technically give Vriska a just death. It is a limitation of this particular judicial system. So it's sort of like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that would be exactly that. It would be, okay, but this system is unfair and it sucks, and I want the characters to decide for themselves. I guess sure, it doesn't necessarily have to be aligned with like the universe or with Doc Scratch in particular, but it's definitely some uncaring superstructure.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of it not on the level of like the universe being malicious, but just sort of like I'm seeing it almost as sort of like the just heroic thing, sort of like snapping, and it's like, oh, I guess this is what technically needs to land on.
Yeah. I
guess now that I think about it, it's probably not related to creating Bec Noir. I think it's probably related to what she was about to do, which is bring Bec Noir to the asteroid.
Right. That's the thing. This obviously has to be prevented. This can't be allowed to happen. So death has to be just. There's no reason for it to be heroic, so it has to be just for this to be prevented now. So I actually think the clock being smashed is sort of a storytelling cop-out, because I think Andrew wanted the mechanic to be pretty concrete, like you did a bad thing.
Sort of like
And this situation is way too complicated for that, so he gave himself an easy out.
On the other hand, I do think that's kind of interesting, because the way Homestuck is written is stuff sort of happens in a way that thematically tells you about what the situation is like.
Yeah.
And so the clock being broken is sort of showing that the system can't handle this situation, so it's like, it has to be just.
Yeah.
And it breaks.
Yeah, I think it was partially so he could use the clock later on to make similar decisions differently. He can, to give himself free way for how the clock is supposed to work later on. Because this would really be writing yourself in the corner if you say, well, okay, future harm done counts. Which is sort of weird.
Well, time isn't real.
Rules of story. By just rules of storytelling, we could go, well, Jack would not have had to smash the clock if it didn't matter. Like, if it was going to be just anyway, then Jack smashing the clock is completely pointless and wouldn't be shown to us. So the conclusion there would be, well, it's probably not just, but the universe does judge hubris despite good intentions in the case of Urania. When she's killed, she wanted to heal the timeline. She did some bad shit for that, but that's still just. And also, the death is not just in the jury kind of way, because Terezi kills her not because of what she's about to do, but because she thinks she committed Gamzee's murders. So it's not a just killing. It's not just ruling. It's just a convenient ruling. So I think it would be really weird for this to actually be just, but at the same time you can't have her survive it, because again it's been made clear what her plan is otherwise, and that can't be allowed to happen. So I think the story was written in a corner there, and the only option was, well, have the clock break.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of, I'm really not sure how Aradia is judged as just, or anyone afterwards, because the clock is still broken, right? Does it magically work again afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
No, isn't there like a clock in fucking Caliborn's Come Hunt or something? Or is that something different?
I mean, Caliban also smashes his clock.
Yeah, but that was later.
Maybe there's just more clocks.
Maybe there is more clocks, but then why couldn't those have rolled Vriska?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wonder
I'm
about
sure
that now.
By the way, I'm sure there's an explanation for it. I have not read the entirety of Homestuck again for the purpose of this video and paid attention to this sort of shit.
Yeah, I didn't expect the fucking Homestuck.
Things to look out.
I haven't been thinking about it.
This Homestuck season. Oh yeah, the thing you said about hubris made me think, man, Tarbuck would get himself killed really easily.
Yeah.
Really?
You've done too much hubris.
You're gonna commit acts of hubris that may get us killed. Is Vriska a type A?
Oh, we'll get to that. Next thing I had was parentheses Vriska. Do I actually have anything more to add?
Oh wait, quickly about the thing that's before, which is killing Tavros.
Oh yeah.
In conjunction with the just thing, because that's another debate I had with people. They're like, Vriska is god tier. She doesn't have to fear about Tavros stabbing her in her sleep. Doesn't she? Really? If I were Vriska fucking Serket and I've lived the life I have, I'd be worried about maybe dying a just death, because I don't know how the fucking clock works.
Yeah, if you bullied somebody a lot, and then they might come kill you, I'd be worried about
Has anyone ever actually told about the clock system and how it works?
Yeah, people are told about how god tiers work by Vriska. We don't know how she found it.
Wait.
Okay.
Well, you give somebody a peanut bar, they have a peanut allergy, and they die at just
I mean, you couldn't. That doesn't make
for
sense.
some reason.
I'm just gonna assume Doc Scratch told her randomly.
There was a bit of editing that was way too much work. It's surprisingly difficult to draw a convincing bite mark into a PNG.
Really?
Yeah. Like, not super much work, but like 5 minutes of drawing and redrawing a bite mark.
Well, that wouldn't be much for me, so maybe I have a different opinion on that. What was next? Yeah, parentheses Vriska. Yeah, I don't have much to say on that actually. It's pretty.
She's irrelevant, and who cares?
Yeah, I will get back to that with the 8 thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I was surprised by how many people actually do see Vriska being mean to parentheses Vriska as like one of her primary crimes. Explicitly in the video, well, I don't think that many people care about this. A lot of people do care about specifically that. One person said, well, she was a child soldier, I understand all the things she did in Alternia, essentially. But this is just a bitch move. Why did she do that?
Out of all the people, it's okay to bully.
How would you feel? How would you feel if you met what if you met your journalist self and you were like 8? What would you do?
I'd kill them, as I would with all my alternative selves.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe this is like breaching new grounds with ethics, but I feel like the one person it's okay to at least bully unconditionally is your alternate self. Because it's almost like arguing with yourself in your head.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. I mean, I don't like fully believe that, but I feel like to a degree, it's like...
To a degree, it's true, yeah. I feel like you should be allowed to tear into yourself. And in this case, it feels vindicating because, again, the video always frames it as, well, let's grant that you have been fooled by all this coding. I was reading... parentheses Vriska first dialogue and was like, what the fuck, you have the box, you can't just go, well, I guess I'm gonna live my fun little life here. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then pretend like that's some great introspective and a lesson to be learned. It's deeply cathartic to have a better version of her throw that back in her face. Because, if you're gonna have a conversation with an alternative self, at least have them do the self-reflection for you. At least get something out of it.
Yeah. Like the worst I could say of that situation is like she's just kind of excessive as usual.
She again, clearly she has a visceral emotional reaction to this that goes beyond, well, I need the box to save everyone.
But like the worst I can say about that is it's a mistake. Maybe.
Yeah, she hates that she could be brought to this point, or that she could, essentially give up on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
She could cease her righteous quest, and become useless as she would see it. And again, that's shitty, but she's kind of right.
Yeah. There was mind control. Which, I mean, we sort of already went over that with the paralysis. I feel like that's the mistake in that situation.
Yeah.
At least personally. There is also, she did briefly mind control Tavros into falling in love with her. Or like in the moment, but that was after...
That was 2 pages.
Yeah, right. That was 2 pages.
That was directly after...
I'm not trying to hide that. Like, I show it on screen just to cover my bases. Yes, I know she tries it, and she immediately says, no, this isn't worth it.
Yeah. Well, I guess you said, she could force Tavros to fall in love with her, but she doesn't. But she does, though, like, just immediately after. I mean, but then she regrets it.
Sure. Yeah. I guess what I mean is
small for
okay. Yeah, I should have said she could force Tavros to be in love with her. But she doesn't. Like, she doesn't make a commitment to it. This seems like a split second. Oh, I could. No, fuck it.
Yeah. That is just a technicality, but yeah.
Yeah, could have been worded differently.
Yeah. But again, I would file that under mistake, and it's like, people always making mistakes. So
Also, I love the the part of the video where you have Arania's thinking pose in the corner and the textbook with the ethics scrolls by. It's one of my favorites. I reuse that visual again and again. It's so nice. It makes me crack up every time I look at it.
That's a good meme.
Yeah. She just doesn't get it. She doesn't get it.
Who in Homestuck understands ethics?
Really churning the gears about ethics.
Yeah. I was really worried someone was going to go, well, that's actually not Vriska, that's Radia. I know. It wouldn't even be funny if it were Vriska. That didn't happen, luckily.
Yeah. And the very last thing I put down was under mind control. Messing around with Jade is a bit but also not that harmful, ultimately.
Yeah.
What does she do to Jade? I don't...
Yeah, she's responsible for Jade's narcolepsy.
Yeah, just
which,
a bunch.
Sucks. But again, she does that after she knows that Jack is a thing, and she thinks this is how she's going to make him. So I think it's justified in that. Though I agree that it does suck.
Well, it wasn't. I think she was getting like practice on Jade, like practicing making humans go to sleep.
Yeah, but that was still all on the meteor. So Jack already happened.
Yeah.
Then she jumped through the timeline before being like, okay, now I'm prepared to do the Jack thing.
It does suck a little bit because it's like from Jade's perspective, it's
right.
like, oh, this thing I've had all my life, and it's like, oh, it's actually
again, like it's necessary for the timeline to work, but it does really suck.
It was actually one person from within the span of probably a few hours or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes me think of Gamzee's chuckle voodoo stuff. Woo.
That too.
Yeah.
Gamzee did do a chuckle voodoo or two. Oh yeah, I never caught on to that parallel. Both John and Jade getting messed with in mind control power ways.
Yeah.
Prospit moment. Prospit gang.
Prospit gang.
Okay, that's all I have on Vriska, other than the Enneagram thing. So if you got anything else before I get into that monologue.
Wow, we're at an hour and 30 minutes. Damn.
No, I don't think so. I think I made all the little addendums and notes I wanted to.
I'm going to take the opportunity to pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Man, I wish I started up in Homestuck again. I was not prepared for this in the slightest.
I was about to say, oh, somebody was in the bathroom, but then they got out of the bathroom immediately. Okay, so as somebody who is messed up and actually unironically interprets the world through various typologies, it occurred to me, wait, what if Vriska is a type 8 on the Enneagram? That would be great. That would be such a nice coincidence.
Re-explain to me what type 8 is.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I do got to go through it to actually, like, justify it.
Alright, I got you.
Yeah, so the Dominator. I hate these names. This is awful.
Not great. This is the level. This is the tier of oral writing.
The Dominator. Okay.
The evangelical idealist, the people pleaser, king of the hill, creative seeker.
The creative seeker.
So
Peaceful
there's a
land.
bunch of different sections that the Enneagram can be divided up in. Okay, so the type 8 thing, let's see. There's like childhood messages they got, like bad messages. The type 8 one is like, it's not okay to be vulnerable or trust anyone. There's like a basic fear. Basic fear of type 8 is being harmed or controlled by others. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Basic desires and their distortions. The desire to protect oneself, which deteriorates into constant fighting. I can sort of see that.
Yeah.
Sort of, and yeah, she literally is kind of like controlled at the very least by Spider Mom.
Yeah.
And probably is seeing that from everybody else.
And also Scratch.
Oh yeah.
The whole fucking I'm not being manipulated. Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Has mind control powers. Has mind control powers as a defense. Well, probably not as a defense, but like coincidentally, that helps. There's the lost childhood messages. This is like the thing they needed to hear, which for 8 is "You will not be betrayed," which I
It
mean,
seems like a harmful message to send to children.
yeah. This, I guess, one thing about the Enneagram is it's sort of like it is a very like evangelical centric, or like that's sort of the crowd that has adopted it. So it's like there's sort of the implication that your world is safe.
Yeah.
To begin with, you know, very suburban
Gotcha.
type of thing. So
Very suburban.
yeah, I do agree that is kind of a harmful message. Like there are people out to get you sometimes.
Yeah. Trust strangers. No one's gonna harm you.
Yeah. More so in the at least in the emotional sense, or like the people who do actually care about you. You don't need to like reflexively have your guard up around them.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that is a whole thing to work through. Like,
right.
Being able to tell who is actually has your best interests in mind.
Yeah. Also, the fucking most abuse happens with people you know closely, etc.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Warning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which,
so yeah, never trust anyone.
Never.
Be like Vriska today.
Okay, and then there was the whole. Okay, so there's different. This is where the mechanics come in. Which, when I actually read the original book on it, I was like surprised that all these mechanics were in this book and not like out there on the internet. And I was like mad that people were not distributing these.
Okay.
Why would you hide the very robust mechanics in a book and talk about idealized archetypes? You can't fit. There aren't 9. There aren't exactly 9 people in the world. But there, you can divide up a network of mechanics into 9 things. So it's like, yeah. So yeah, there's the instinctive triad, or that section. That's the 8, 9, and 1. It's sort of the like body center, where they sort of deal with like rage is kind of their thing, in some form or another. And then there was also the assertive types, which is like the 8 and the 7 and the 3, which the 3 was another one I considered for Vriska, which is sort of like a
King of the Hill.
Yeah, that's like the achiever one, the sort of like, oh, if I do all the things, everyone will love me, which
yeah, that sounds very Vriska.
Yeah. But I feel like it's definitely a component, but I feel like it's not as strong.
Yeah, especially since I don't think Vriska actually expects people to like her when she succeeds. This is more for her own sake, for her to be okay with herself.
Yeah, I think her problems are a bit more like internally depressive, sort of. Or like just sort of like beat down by like constantly everybody seeing you as a terrible person.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, so the 8 or the body group is sort of like they want autonomy is the thing. And within each group there's sort of there's one that tries to earn the thing, in this case autonomy. That'd be the 1. There's one that withdraws for it, which would be the 9, and then the 8 are in the sort of demanding group, or the assertive. They sort of demand the thing, so it's sort of demanding autonomy. Within the body group, it's sort of like they experience the world and sort of like it's sort of like physically coming at them in waves almost. And the 8 sort of deals with that by like just punching back. So it's sort of like, oh well, get out of here. I feel like there was one thing. Oh yeah, then there's the integration and disintegration lines. You know, that's, you see all those lines going across the thing.
Yeah.
So you brought up there was a line in your video, the freak of nurture, which is actually very interesting because the integration line for the 8 is to the 2, which is sort of like the caretaker type. They sort of their thing is like they're loving a person or like giving a lot of attention to somebody or other people. And I sort of see that with like...
What does integration mean in this context?
It's sort of like a high and low thing where like going from the 8 to the 2 in like different scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that is sort of a bit difficult to explain, but it's sort of like you can see that with her relationship to Tabros in a way.
Yeah.
And I guess also with June as well.
Yeah.
It's sort of like everyone else sucks, but like, hey, you're cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how nurturing she really is with June. I think she seems to feel like she's on a more even standing with John/June. Like you're gonna be the hero of this session.
I mean, it's not really like a coddling in this case.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it is very different compared to everyone else she interacts with.
Yeah. Yeah, so she can open up there. She is sort of exploiting them as a therapist in a lot of conversations.
Yeah. And I guess that sort of there's the disintegration line, which goes to the 5, which is sort of like the like really cerebral thinky type. Which I think we see the most of that in like right after Urania is like doing her thing and like screws up massively, and she's like sort of depressively going over, oh man, it's doing such a bad job. And it's like I can't believe it's the same mistakes I made. I was a terrible person. It's sort of like a pulling back and like analyzing, which usually the like disintegration implies that it's like a bad thing, which I guess like usually it is, or just sort of a low moment.
It's the slap of the wrist after shitting on the carpet.
Yeah. I guess a reverse of this is like, because the lines follow like a sequence for the numbers. So 5 integrates to 8. And an instance of that I think is like semi-unhealthy, sort of, was Beatrice. I think she's like a type 5, and I think the whole character of Digibro was like a sort of like a very forced 8 type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm always going to be like yelling and like the more toxic characteristics of that whole thing. Yeah.
Can't do it anymore. Can't fucking watch it go down. Okay, no.
God, I just remembered the one where she was like yelling at like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something. I'm not okay.
Carpaccio.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my case. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
That is funny.
I'm convinced, and you should too.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on Vriska?
I find it really weird how controversial she is. There's so much worse characters in Homestuck.
Oh yeah. When you said like at the, I forget what part of the video it was, but you were like, you said you didn't like her at first. I find that like interesting because it's something I wouldn't have expected, because it's like, you know, you meet people and you don't really know about their past, so you kind of assume they've like always been the same and had the same thoughts about things.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's kind of like, oh, also I also didn't like her that much, like reading the first time, so it's like
I was young and stupid, and
yeah, same.
No, I just really liked Terrance, and it seemed like Vriska essentially ruined her life, and I was like, oh no, I hate this person. Well, how could she do this to sweet Terrance?
Sweet Terrance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't think Terrance did nothing wrong, anything like that. I did read the bit where she killed June.
I love my friend Germa 985.
Yeah, she was fun. She was a cool character. This Vriska lady, she seems like bad news.
Yeah, I think people. A lot of the discourse I see about Homestuck and the way people think about it, it's sort of like it seems very one pass of Homestuck, and sort of like the impression you get from one pass of Homestuck, like solidified in a way. That's sort of how people seem to.
Yeah, I don't get
see
that.
Homestuck.
I came away with really interest. Like, my opinion on at least one character really flipped every time I read it.
I wonder. I can't wait. What happens next? Tune in
I
next time.
I remember when I saw Vriska the first time, the second time reading, I remember looking like, damn, she's fun as hell. She's my favorite character now. And that's how it be.
Yeah.
All these other characters, they're lame. Well, no, I'm kidding. But that was only some of them. Only one. I'm trying to think what percentage of Homestuck characters are lame.
Especially, it's really interesting reading the comic again after having talked or having heard someone else talk about it.
Yeah.
And picking up on all the things they saw intuitively.
Yeah.
One really strong example I had with this was because a lot of my Homestuck takes are obviously inspired by listening to a lot of Pigeon Pod. I think I make that clear. But Kate at one point said, she never realized that John June is like actually really, really funny. And like intentionally joking instead of just saying dumb shit, like with the quadrants thing. I read it again and I was like, yeah, obviously these are good jokes. This is a funny person. I would want to spend time with them.
It kind of makes sense too.
I
with
didn't
like
really get that before.
Yeah, that like John being smarter than they seem makes more sense. Like with the whole like what she knows about like dissecting the whole like capture card thing. It's like surprisingly really like knowledgeable. It's like, well,
that's really thought out.
Where did all that come from?
Also really emotionally intelligent, the way she deals with Serket.
Yeah.
It only sort of, you only figure it out later on, but it worked.
Yeah. Nice. I can't wait to read Homestuck again to reaffirm that Dave is a fascinator.
Yeah, why is Dave a fascinator? Well, Gator's wrong about a lot of things.
I guess like Dave has a very like blah, 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 type
Dave is
wording,
not
but it's like
aesthetician.
That's not how I see Red Column. I don't think Red Column is inherently riffing on like bullshit. If anything, that would tell me Dave is a new type. But I feel
if Red
like
Column was riffing, then Rose would be Red Column.
Aesthetician Rose.
Oh my god.
You know what? If someone said aesthetician Rose, I'm just gonna believe them.
Once somebody has that take, I will believe it.
Also, can we talk about that Guru literally put the two red people in aesthetician?
Yeah.
This is color bias.
And he put Aridin Overseer, yep. Terrance Analyst, yep. Kanai and Kanta. Well, I guess that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, I agree with Aradia. I do think Aradia is aesthetician.
Well, how is she not an aesthetician? That's a greater question.
I don't know. She's very obviously that.
Yeah, Dave's like back to that, you know, the Dave freak out thing where he's just sort of looking around. That like, that seems like a very top lat thing to do.
Yeah, his weird mumbling on the meteor where Rose is like, hey, are you talking to someone? Does he know? It's just building rhymes. It's just building rapport.
Yeah. The amount that he just like sees everything and is like just trying to process it. Like, yeah, that's a top lat thing. Come on now. 555, come on now. All right. One more topic. We have me and Eden. We made an album.
Yes.
We made a music. We did one of those things. It's called The Calamity of Mr. Terrance's Request. Who is Terrance? What was his request? What dire consequences took place?
I think he bought indiscriminate drugs at a frat party. That's how it starts out.
Oh,
The first
yeah.
song. And he paid $20 for it, which he's void of at the end of it.
Oh,
And the whole
yeah.
thing is a descent through his trip.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, as someone who has tripped.
Okay, I had more notes on this, but I can't remember them. I thought of a whole arc, which the songs play out.
As somebody who has tripped, does this sound like tripping?
Not to me, but I'm not a very auditory person.
True.
The names make sense. Like, what's it? Ibuprofen Airlines, is that the name?
Yeah, Ibuprofen Airlines.
Yeah. That seems like an experience. That name.
Yeah.
Also, Eden's rambling in I fucking despise you, which I didn't know was Eden.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of
What
samples.
clip is that?
Okay, so that was when your mic was broken, so you would be talking and it would just have these like huge spikes in audio. That would
Oh
just,
yeah,
like,
that's what I use my own headphones microphone. Can I have that clip? I need that for the archive.
Yeah, I'll give you that after. I have a handful in a folder.
Yeah, just give me all.
Yeah. Let me just go through all the samples in order in this thing.
I don't think I used any samples.
At the very end of frat parties, first, the way this album was made, Eden makes albums in like,
Let me explain this album was made, alright? So one day I was like, fuck, album time, and then I made like 6 songs in one day, and it took Earthquake 3 months to make the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly that. Eden makes music in like a day, basically. Like
I think
albums.
in fact, most of my albums are like 1 day-ish, maybe 2 if I'm feeling sad.
Yeah, I just sent her a bunch of like weird samples I had, and then music, and then I took those music and made more music.
Also, he gave me Nitro for that song, so.
At the very end of frat parties, there's from StarCraft. There's some like Protoss dude complaining about Terrans on their planet. That's sort of where we got the like title from. Is like, it seems like there's all these people being referenced, Terrans, and then the name Terrance emerged.
It was funny because it was like flipping his shit. It was like, what does this mean? I'm like, it's Terrance, bro.
Yeah.
Where's the funny reference?
Second track, I don't remember. I think it was just a track made out of some Autek song. I don't think there's any other samples. Air of Air also doesn't have any samples. I Fucking Despise You, that has like a bunch. So yeah, there's the first one, which is like Eden talking, like rambling about like shooting a security guard with a gun and then like regretting it. Not so much that the security guard died, but that she used a gun at all. And like everyone who else is like disappointed in her for using a gun. And then after that, the sample right after that is
Ralph.
No. We're still in the same song. There's like there's like an old Deadmau5 track where I guess he sampled some Canadian radio show.
Oh, the Speak Cool thing?
No, not that one.
Okay.
But it is from that.
Because you linked that somewhere. Listen,
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, that is... He did sample that on the same album that this is from. But yeah, this is like some guy, like they're taking colors, and he like asks how rejection affected this person's life, which is an interesting question to ask. I feel like I should ask more people that, just like on the spot. How has rejection affected your life?
That's a good interview question. Thank you.
Yeah. And then immediately after that, there's the sample of Deadmau5 himself. Is like from a more recent video. He's just like rambling about weird, really expensive sample packs. That's like, why don't you just record the instrument instead of buying a $1,000 sample pack of like the audio. And then after that, there's me rambling about pretentiousness.
Wait, you're in this?
Yeah, I kind of made it inaudible. I wish I didn't I wish I made it more audible.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then there's Ralph. This also has a bunch of samples. We started, like, the album was, like, close to done, and they were like, oh, what if we took Ralph the Movie Maker and made a Ralph the Movie Maker interlude? And then from there I took from the movie Wreck-It Ralph, when Fix-It Felix is, like, asking for Ralph.
I'm quite really out here to try and get his revenge arc for not talking on the podcast at all. Just, whew.
And then I also sampled another StarCraft thing. I went in SCB going, what's going on? Because Ralph is saying what's going on, so I put another one in there. Luna Game, that has me on it, doing like a pss sound and some other weird bullshit. Do It For Him, this one. Oh yeah, this has, did you notice it has the Change the World, My Final Message in it? But, like, slowed down.
No.
It's kind of in the background. Followed by Square Pusher, go and make some fucking noise. I love Square Pusher. I am sponsored by Square Pusher.
Yeah, and this podcast is, as previously stated,
This sponsor is brought
to you by Square Pusher.
Officially endorsed.
Yep. Ibuprofen Airlines, I sampled a clipping track where he's like, I need my shit loud, and then I took that and chopped it in the made like an ARP out of it.
Oh yeah, this is when I use a funny filter.
Yeah. Thank You Next. That one also has me at the end.
Oh yeah, didn't I use that a lot? Yeah, I put that in there because.
Yeah, and the last track was just me. I played some bass, but I recorded it. I didn't record it directly into my interface. I just recorded the room audio, so it has all, like, the noise in there. And then I reversed it. So that's where you get that cool sound. And that's all the samples. That's a lot of samples. Man.
What's the cover image?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it started as. I think... hold on. There was an earlier version of it that we took. And then must stop. It was this one, which I also don't know what this is. I don't remember. This is an older image that I had. I think I got this while I was in, like...
Okay.
I was in an impromptu, like, image editing arms race with EGAG. We were just, like, taking a meme and fucking it up more and more unrecognizably.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I used to do that. I would always win.
This looks less like something because the image that's actually the album looks to me kind of like a leg. Like there's a knee in the middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. These look like legs, but the earlier version doesn't look like that. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. It was this one.
Looks like a hallway. Wait,
This one. So, like, Henrietta posted this meme, and then me and Agag took this and fucked it up, and then we just added her afterwards, like, hey, we made it better.
This is an EGAG ass meme.
This is how it started. So, yeah, I guess this is the image. This is the origin of the album cover, is bitch, don't fuck with my cope.
Nice.
God. That's a lot. It's a weird album. It's sort of, if you can't tell two space players, they just...
You should listen to my music.
All meaning is retroactive. Nothing was thought out. Well, some things. But it's all associative.
Bitch, don't fuck with my cope. What am I looking at?
So yeah, check out Eden Music. Check out this album. Check out Eden Music if you dare. There's a lot of albums. As previously stated, there's more than 50. Good luck.
Yeah, and obviously check out Koi's music, who also makes that.
Thanks you. Yeah, and check out the Ouroborista things. Watch the Vriska video.
Right. Visit my website, ouroborista.neocities.org. I keep saying .net, which is wrong, .org.
Yeah. It's an organism.
Yeah.
Not an organization.
Yeah, it's organic. It's good for you.
It's liquid bread. It's good for you.
Yeah. I promise you won't die. Ever.
Never die.
Yeah.
Smile.
And if you do, well, I guess you can't fucking sue me. Because you're dead.
You're good.
Ouroborista did nothing wrong.
I did.
You became a podcaster.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, yeah, right. Oh, you get one carte blanche. Like Vriska
You
the
get
gamer.
one.
Yeah.
You make one more crime today?
One mistake.
You get to do one thought crime. Vriska gets to be a gamer, you get to be a podcaster.
Oh my god. Wow. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I meant to say this at the beginning. I might also like have a second version of this on my channel.
Yeah.
I plan to do more of these, at least one more. I would like to do one with Tarbuck and possibly Vamp at the same time. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
So I guess if you want to see more of those, I can't guarantee that they'll show up on Neurotypeline unless maybe if we like talk about neurotyping for like a section, maybe we can justify putting it on there. I don't know, but either way, subscribe to me because I would like that. For no other reason, just I would like
Don't fuck with
that. And also maybe podcast might show up in your sub feed, which by the way, use your sub feed for YouTube. Don't use recommended. Use your sub bookmark your sub feed. Please. Do it for me, do it for him. Do it for the square pusher.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Good night, and remember, please remember.
This sponsor, Jinkus Pinkus. Boy, I'm about to go pig wild. Let's hope my audio didn't fuck up.
Trust no one.